Hi guys, Stephen here, just on a flip cam, so it might get a bit shaky and a bit weird. I'm just having a chat to you today about the topic that I've chosen, and I'm going to go through my VAbib stuff, which is lying down there on a bench. So we'll have a chat about that in a sec. My topic is, and I've listed it as, which design deliverables are the most effective at explaining research insights to stakeholders, business, technical, and designers within the bank that I work for. And it's a topic that I'm actually really interested in. It's a topic which, it keeps coming up at work. How do we actually better communicate design research? And how can we be effective at communicating to all sorts of different audiences? So I've been doing a bit of reading about that, and we'll have a look at the VAbib now. So this is the VAbib. I'll just stretch up onto my tippy toes to get that picture. Basically, we've got two axes. The top axis is practical. The vertical axis is practical to theoretical, and individual to group. And I guess the practical stuff is probably the most obvious stuff for me to go reading about. And that really talks a lot about how to actually communicate design practice. So there's this one here, which is about cooperation across wikis. Well, that's upside down, but basically cooperation over wikis, how to do collaborative mood boards, a bunch of stuff around sketching, etc., etc. I guess this horizontal axis is probably the slightly harder one to interpret, which is going from an individual to group level, and I've had to do that in two different ways, I guess. Sort of on the practical side up here, when I talk about group stuff, it's about communicating to groups and perhaps working with groups. And down here, it's all about communicating and working with individuals. So this is an example of neuroaffective web design. This is Bill Gaver's stuff on cultural probes, where you get quite a good insight into individuals and their behaviours and thoughts. On the other side here, on the theoretical side, which is the, from practical to theoretical, I've had to think of it slightly differently. And when I talk about individuals, it's usually about the individual practice or individual behaviours within the theoretical context. So we're talking about theory about individuals. I don't know whether you can actually read that, but it's quite an interesting little thing about thought processes of individuals and different learning styles. So there's that stuff here, and then I guess as we go over to the theoretical group stuff, we've only got two things in here. There's some stuff on Foucault and power, and there's this other thing which is about design research methodologies, which is quite a technical, slightly theoretical way of constructing a decent design research. So I think I do need to do a bit more reading around this sort of grouped theoretical area. In terms of, I guess, I want to find some articles that effectively talk about communicating to groups, and I guess the theory related to that. Something like maybe Garrett Hardin's Tragedy of the Commons, but perhaps something slightly more positive, i.e. on a theory on how to actually communicate effectively with lots of people. Then again, I guess, looking at this stuff, maybe, and I guess down here, if we look at the individual theoretical stuff, maybe people need to be communicated on an individual level. So in terms of my research, I actually think I'm going to ease off a little bit on the reading. Dory suggested a few proceedings that I should read, and I've got some proceedings that I need to get through from last year's participatory design conference, which I never read, but I think that might actually fill out that missing gap for me. In terms of my next steps in research, I'd really like to do some primary research and go out and follow a few people, try to understand how they're using the existing design deliverables like personas and other things that try to articulate what's actually happening from the design research point of view, and perhaps do some collaborative design sessions, and that hopefully will cycle back into a bit more reading as well. So that's my plan. We'll see how we go. Thanks guys, catch ya.